फ्रेंड्स, कैसे हो साहब। तो उम्मीद करो सब खैर होंगे, अपने आप को एंजॉय कर रहे होंगे बिल्कुल मेरी तरह। मेरा नाम है फसीर रहमान और लोग देख रहे हैं FOC रिएक्शन टीवी। सो आज की जो वीडियो बहुत ही ज़्यादा मज़ेदार होने वाली है, क्योंकि आज की इस वीडियो पे हम जो रिएक्ट करने वाले हैं उसका टाइटल है इंडोनेशिया मिलिट्री, हाउ स्ट्रॉन्ग इज़ इट। बिल्कुल बात बिल्कुल सही है कि हमें हर कंट्री की जो है वो मिलिट्री के बारे में बिल्कुल देखना चाहिए, लेकिन हम आज जो इंडोनेशिया के बारे में देखने वाले हैं। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट द वीडियो विदाउट वेस्टिंग एनी टाइम। दिस इज गोना बी आवर रिएक्शन टाइम। तो हम सबसे पहले जो अपना हेडफोन को पहन लेते हैं और ये होगी वीडियो स्टार्ट।
Slowly become one of the world's largest armed forces. According to the global firepower, they ranked Indonesia in 2024 as 13 out of 145 nations. The archipelago nation is slowly becoming a military superpower, one that may one day rival that of China, India, and the United States. Today, however, Indonesia is still just one of many regional military powers. They have the strength that may rival that of some European countries or large South American military forces. But to understand just how big and strong Indonesia's military is, let's discuss its size, equipment used, and future plans. The first and most important factor of Indonesia's military is size and structure. Indonesia's military is big. It reflects the country's population and economy. Indonesia today has a GDP of about 1.48 trillion US dollars, as published by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, making it one of the world's largest economies. The country's population, on the other hand, sits at approximately 279 million people, which makes it the fourth largest globally. These two indicators are already important for a country's military might. For a country to have a big and formidable military, they must need a big economy and a huge amount of people. The economy will support a country's military equipment, whether they can buy state-of-the-art fighter jets, submarines, and tanks, or they have the resources and technology to build their own equipment locally. The population, on the other hand, is also important because it allows a country to deploy people who will use these equipment in times of war. These are simply the reasons why Indonesia has a big chance to become a global superpower, because it has the people and a big future economy. Now let's discuss the structure of the Indonesian military. The Indonesian military is more commonly known as the Indonesian National Armed Forces. The National Armed Forces is then divided into three branches: the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. Each serves a distinct role in the military capabilities of Indonesia. The global firepower estimates that Indonesia currently has 1,050,000 military personnel, 400,000 of which are active, and another 400,000 are reserve personnel, and 250,000 are paramilitary. The Air Force personnel consists of 30,100. The Army personnel are about 300,400, and the Navy personnel sits at 66,034. Let's now talk about each of these branches and their capabilities. Let's start with the Army, which is the most vital piece of Indonesia's defense capabilities. The Indonesian Army has several equipment ranging from basic uniforms to handheld weaponries and ground vehicles, such as tanks and artillery. A big piece of what makes Indonesia's army formidable are its tanks and artillery. Its tanks are many, and they come from all across the world. Some from Germany, Turkey, France, the Netherlands, and so on. The most famous as of yet is none other than Indonesia's Leopard 2 from Germany. In 2016, the Indonesian Army received the initial 8 units of a total of 61 Leopard 2A4 third-generation main battle tanks, or MBTs. These Leopard 2A4s are touted as some of Southeast Asia's most advanced and lethal battle tanks. These deliveries from Germany are part of a larger defense deal that includes 103 Leopard main battle tanks, 42 upgraded Marder 1A3 infantry fighting vehicles, as well as a selection of 10 specialized vehicles for armored recovery, mobile bridging, and military engineering, all sourced from surplus German army stocks. Besides the Leopard, the Indonesian army also took in the Harimau medium tank, as a result of a collaboration between PT Pindad and Turkey's FNSS defense systems. It was reported that Unlike the Leopard 2, the Haramau medium tank combat weight is approximately 35 tons, which enables the tank to access less developed roads and bridge networks. The contract between the Haramau medium tank started way back in 2015, when the governments of Indonesia and Turkey agreed to co-develop the Modern Medium Weight Tank, or MMWT, for the Indonesian Army, anticipating a development phase of about 37 months with a budget of $30 million. This partnership aimed to enhance the Army's capabilities with a new tank design initially named the MMWT and later known as the Haramau. The collaboration included sharing intellectual property rights. The tank, featuring a 35-ton design equipped with a Belgian-made Cockerel 105mm rifled barrel turret, was first unveiled in Indonesia in 2016. Armament-wise, the Haramau features a 105mm Cockerel 3105 turret, capable of high-pressure fires, and is equipped with a standard 105mm rifled gun, a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun, and optional machine guns for additional defense, supported by smoke grenade launchers. Now, let's talk about the artillery used by the Indonesian Army. One of them is Turkey's Khan missile system. This was announced around 2022, and it made Indonesia the first foreign user of the equipment. The system was designed to have a range of 208 kilometers and high precision on the battlefield. It weighs about 2,500 kilograms with a 407 kilogram high explosive warhead. Now let's move on to talk about Indonesia's Navy, the other vital piece of the country's defense. Arguably, the Navy is the most important of the three branches, simply because Indonesia is an archipelago nation with thousands upon thousands of islands. The Navy deploys several equipment ranging from submarines to warships. The most important, of course, is none other than the Indonesian Navy's submarine fleet. There are currently 3 fleets, 2 of which are active, and 1 is still in ongoing order. The ones that Indonesia currently deploy is the Nagapasa class and Cockerel class. The Nagapasa class is a diesel-electric attack submarine. It's part of a contract valued at $1.02 billion. The Indonesian Ministry of Defense and DSME collaborated on the construction of 3 Nagapasa-class submarines. DSME will build 2 submarines, and the third will be constructed by PT PAL in Indonesia, benefiting from a technology transfer. This will allow PT PAL to utilize both DSME and its own fabricated sections. The Nagapasa-class submarines are modeled after the DSME improved Shangbogo design, itself an evolution of the German Type 209-1400 design from ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems, TKMS. These submarines measure 61.3 meters in length, have a beam of 6.3 meters, and a draft of 5.5 meters, with a displacement of 1,400 tons. They are equipped with 4 MTU 12-volt 493 diesel generators, enabling speeds of up to 21.5 knots submerged and 11 knots when surfaced. Armament includes 8 torpedo tubes that are capable of deploying Black Shark heavy torpedoes and submarine-launched mines. The Cockerel class, on the other hand, is also a diesel-electric attack submarine. It was built by the Hollvadswerke Deutsche Werft and retrofitted by Daewoo. It was commissioned in 1991 and rejoined the fleet in 2005. These submarines, measuring 59.5 meters in length and featuring a beam of 6.2 meters, are capable of reaching speeds up to 21.5 knots while submerged. They have the endurance to stay underwater for approximately 50 days without needing to surface. Equipped with advanced weaponry, they can launch 21-inch SUT heavyweight torpedoes that are domestically manufactured. The future submarine is a Scorpene deal with France. The details are still unknown since it was signed just a few months ago, but this already shows the future path of Indonesia's army, one that consistently upgrades and meets the demands of the 21st century. Aside from submarines, the Navy also deploys several warships. One of them is called the Ahmad Yani class. It is an old frigate that was built back in the late 1960s. Another one is the Marta Dinata class frigate, which is a rather newly built frigate built by the Damen Scheld Naval Shipbuilding from the Netherlands. Finally, let's talk about the last piece of Indonesia's defense capabilities, its Air Force. The Indonesian Air Force operates several combat aircrafts. One of them, most advanced, is the Dassault Rafale from France. The contract, however, is still fairly recent. The Indonesian and French government signed this back in just 2022 for a total of 42 jets, costing them a massive $8.1 billion US. The Air Force also operates several F-16 fighting
$US
Falcon from the United
बहुत amazing है।
States. They recently completed the Falcon Star
इसने
and
खरीदा है
MBLU upgrade on the 5th
F-16
F-16 in
F-16
2021. Another aircraft is the Sukhoi Su-30 from Russia.
अमेरिका से
It was
खरीदा
reported to be
खरीदा।
delivered back in 2013. As reported, it was
रशिया
delivered
से।
in unassembled form
Delivered
by
in
the Komsomolskna
2013।
Amur Aircraft Production
कम से कम
Association,
11 साल
or
हो गए इसको deliver किया।
KNAPO. The aircraft had completed the
Oh my
Indonesian Air
God,
Force's
किस तरह हमला कर
Sukhoi
रहे हैं।
fighter jet squadron, bringing the total to 16 Su-27 SKM and Su-30
दोनों मिलाकर जो है
Mk2 planes,
16
according to
बनते हैं, जो
Xinhua.
jets हैं,
Furthermore,
जो
the Indonesian
next,
Defense Minister
किसी भी जो
Purnomo
है country को
Yuskiantoro
आराम से
was
destroy करने के
quoted
लिए
by local
बहुत
media
ज़्यादा
that
जो है वो
Indonesia
use
has
करेंगे,
invested
अगर team
around
आराम से जो country destroy हो
$1.17
जाएगी।
billion on procurement of the 16 aircraft,
Indonesia
along
has
with
invested
ammunition, pilot training, and logistic packages.
on
Now, we've discussed several key equipment
16
deployed by the
aircrafts.
three branches
इतने ज़्यादा
of Indonesia's
expensive aircraft हैं,
military.
especially
However, there is still so
बहुत ज़्यादा
much
जो है
more
वो
equipment
powerful
that the
होने वाले
country
हैं।
deploys. The
क्योंकि
final
इतनी ज़्यादा
part in
security सिर्फ
understanding how
Indonesia ही
big
कर सकते
they
हैं बना
are
के लिए,
is
और
their
जो ममालिक हैं
military
वो नहीं कर
spending.
सकते।
How much does the Indonesian government
बिल्कुल
spend on its
बिल्कुल
military?
Indonesia
They spend
बहुत ज़्यादा
about
spend करते हैं
$9
military के ऊपर,
billion
क्योंकि अपने
per
मुल्क को पहले
year. In
billion
2022, it was
military
reported that they set
spending
aside $9.3
Indonesia की जो
billion.
military है वो
Then a year
$9
later, it
billion
was
लगा
reduced
रही है
to just
एक
about
साल का।
$8.8 billion. However, they had also reported $125 billion on
125 मैं थिंक करता हूँ तो हो चुकी है वीडियो यहीं पर एंड। लेकिन यार वीडियो की मैं कहता हूँ क्या ही बात है, बहुत ही ज़बरदस्त वीडियो थी, बहुत ही मज़ेदार वीडियो थी। स्पेशली हमने इंडोनेशिया के बारे में जितनी इन्फॉर्मेशन ली है, इतनी इन्फॉर्मेशन हमें अपने और किसी मुल्क के बारे में भी नहीं है इन्फॉर्मेशन। जितनी इन्फॉर्मेशन हमने जो है आज इंडोनेशिया के बारे में ले ली है, इसकी इतनी ज़्यादा पावरफुल मिलिट्री इंडोनेशिया की, तो इसको डिफेंड करना काफ़ी मुश्किल है। हमारा तो मुस्लिम कंट्री है, पाकिस्तान और इंडोनेशिया जो है वो भाई भाई हैं, लेकिन जो बाकी दूसरे ममालिक हैं जो नॉन मुस्लिम्स हैं उनके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छी बात है कि वो इस इंडोनेशिया पर हमला नहीं कर सकते। तो इंडोनेशियन लव फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान। तो वीडियो करते हैं यहाँ पर एंड। वीडियो पसंद आए तो वीडियो को लाइक कर दें, चैनल पर नया चैनल सब्सक्राइब करें ताकि इस तरह की वीडियो देखने को मिले। गुड बाय, टेक केयर, अल्लाह हाफिज़।